supposed to have Snapchat during class?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's an improved
It's
app.
the school website.
Boy,
I said no results. What's wrong with your phone?
Okay, 11.2, we'll call this 11.2B. Or not to be. Okay, this works. Now we're going to start factoring. And this is like the first method. There's 10,000 different methods of factoring. Okay. And we're factoring what's called quadratics. You guys know that. That's when I have a power of 2 for one of my terms, right? And for us to use grouping, you have to have how many terms? Anybody remember? 4 terms, okay? I mean, you could use grouping on 3 terms, but there's easier methods, okay? So, for example, what I mean by terms, separated by a plus or minus sign. Right? So here's one term, and that one tells me it's a quadratic because it's squared, right? Right? Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, then I have a minus sign, so this becomes another term. This is term 2. Okay. This is a plus sign, so here's term 3, and another minus sign, so here's term 4. 4 terms. You gotta have 4 terms when you group. Okay, so when you group, what do you think of when you hear the word group? Mathematically, symbols. Parentheses, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to group the first 2 terms, and then we're going to group the last 2 terms. Now, since you guys are all experts, because we just took a quiz yesterday on getting the greatest common factor out and doing what's left over, or what I like to call undistributing. It's really not a mathematical technique, but I'm going to say it. So what we have to do, we have our 6y squared minus 4y that we grouped, and then our plus 3y minus 2 that we grouped, and then do what we did on the quiz yesterday. What could I take out of 6 and 4 at the same time? What's my greatest common factor? 2. And how many y's can I take out? I got 2 y's there, 1 y there, so I can take out y. And then I take 6y squared divided by 2y. I get 3y. Everybody with me? Because you're going to get quizzed on this if you didn't do it yesterday, like soon. Huh? Are you confused though? This is from yesterday. This is what we've been doing like the past 3 days here. And then I take my 4y divided by 2y. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. Y divided by y is 1. So 2 times 1 is 2. Here's what I'm doing. When we distribute, we multiply. So when I undistribute, I have to divide. So I take my my term here, 6y squared. So what I'm doing is I'm dividing it by the greatest common factor. Okay? That's how I get 6 divided by 2 is 3. Y squared divided by y is just y. That's how I get my 3y. Okay? And then how I get my 2 is, well, I take my 4y, and I'm dividing it by my greatest common factor, 2y. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. My y's just cancel out. So that's how I get rid of it. So I end up with 3y minus 2, with the greatest common factor out in front. Don't forget that guy. All right. So my second numbers that I grouped here, actually not the second term, the third and fourth terms that I grouped. Okay, I still have to take out the greatest common factor. But there really isn't any common factor between 3y and 2, except for the number 1. So I have to take that out. If there's nothing there that I can take out, I have to take the 1 out. Now, there's a reason why I group them and then take the greatest common factor out or undistribute them. Because look what happens here. What do you notice? The quantities I get in both of them. They're the same, right? So that becomes one of my factors. 3y minus 2. Okay. My other factor. Now, factors are multiplied to get a product, right? So we're going to end up multiplying these two factors together. My other factor comes from my greatest common factors that I pulled out. So there's my 2y. Here's my 2y. Here's my plus 1. Here's my plus 1. And I group those for a factor. Okay? So that's kind of the process here. You ready? Is this fuzzy or is it me? I broke my camera buttons the other day. Still fuzzy, isn't it? This kind of is a new camera. There we go. Okay, so I've got my 4 terms. So I'm going to group my first 2 terms, group my second 2 terms. Okay, look at the first quantity here. What can I take out of x squared and 2x? What can I take out of x squared and 2x? One of the x's. So x squared divided by x leaves me with 2x divided by x. Good. Now, what can I take out of x and 2? Yeah, I can't really take anything out but the factor 1. And I'm left with x plus 2. Okay, after this point, you should get the same quantity after taking out your greatest common factor. So that's one of my factors. X plus 2. Okay. And what I'm left with? X plus 1. That's factored form. Not so hard, right? Let's try a harder one. Ooh, let's do number 5. Okay, I'm going to group my first 2 terms. And now I'm going to group my second 2 terms. Now, I haven't been including the sign in front of the third term because it's been positive. I really should have been including that sign in front of that when I'm grouping. Okay? And I'll tell you why in a minute. Looking at the first quantity here, I have 6t squared and 4t. What can I take out of 6 and 4 at the same time? 2. Can I take any t's out? I got 2 t's here and 1 t here. So I'm going to take out 1 t. Yeah, 6 divided by 2 is 3. 2 t's divided by 1 t is 1 t left. Minus 2. Right? Okay, now the second pair. And the reason why I put that minus sign in here is so that I don't forget to take out a minus. So I'm going to take out a negative, and the only thing I can take out of 3t and 2 is a 1. And I'm left with, well, negative 3t divided by negative 1 is positive 3t. Okay. And then negative 2. Now the reason why I wanted to get that negative sign out of there, so that these are the same quantities, right? That's my ultimate goal here. Get those to be the same. That becomes one of my factors. And what I have left, 2t minus 1. Okie dokie. Everybody got this? Want me to do another example? Or are you good? Or is everybody that's not listening to me okay with their laptops and phones? It's progress reports Friday. I'm not going to even, I'm done telling you guys be off your phones. I might yell at you just because it's fun, but. Alright, so you've got the rest of this page. 2 through 12, and I did, what, 2 of them, so you got 10 problems. Anybody need to do the quiz?